Judy has just returned from her church women's group luncheon at Hondo's restaurant, which could only accommodate 14. And as of this morning, there were 20 and RSVP'd, late reservations. And her co-president insisted that those who are tardy do not get fruit cup, as in Mel Brooks's film High Anxiety, and didn't want to go to Boychik's Deli, where Judy had arranged for all 20 to be accommodated. Mm-hmm. Her co-president was insisting that they eat at Hondo's because certain people had RSVP'd because they wanted to eat at Hondo's and couldn't get there on their own somehow. They had to eat with a group of 13 other United Women of Health and 2 co-presidents, rather. Anyway, so what happened? You got there, and was your co-president, Sharon, already there?
Yes.
And?
She was there waiting to let us know that there was not room for us and that we should leave.
You mean go across the street to Boychik's?
The orphans.
You and how many orphans did actually show up?
Wait a minute. Excuse me.
There were three orphans, right?
Five
orphans plus you.
No, I was the 5th orphan.
Oh, but you're not an orphan because you did RSVP early.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, so those 4 who were tardy in reserving, now, did they reserve after the cutoff date for reserve RSVP by this date?
No, because
Okay, so they were able to RSVP up until an hour before the event, right?
Yes.
And yet your co-president was going to disadvantage those poor orphans and tell them that they might show up to Hondo's, but that didn't mean they would get to eat at Hondo's.
That's right.
All right, that's interesting. All right, so how did that resolve? Because you did not actually go across the street to Boychik with your 4 orphans, did you?
No.
What happened?
I said, we would like to be seated here. We are members of this group. We've gone to every meeting. We've paid our dues. And we looked forward to this luncheon, and we want to be seated here.
All right. And what did she say? No, what did Sharon say? That's not what she said. Tell me one sentence
so we got the
of the actual
I would like to see
the
manager of the restaurant.
Tell me one thing that Sharon actually said in response to your contradicting her wishes that you exit the premises and go across the street to Boychik's with your 4 orphans. Mm-hmm. Now, why was she kicking you out? Because she knew you wouldn't let those 4 orphans dine alone, that you'd make them feel better by going. She could predict that you're so nice that you're predictable. So she said what now? What did Sharon say when you said you were going to eat at home?
She told the manager the whole story. Had nothing to do. He looked at it. He said, "Miss, I have nothing to do with this." He said, "That has nothing to do with the restaurant."
But these people, they should have RSVP'd earlier, and I don't care that they...
She told him everything, and that's what he
She tried to tell me everything, and I said, let's cut to the chase and get to today's situation.
There's one thing. I want to be seated. That's it.
All right. And what did the manager say?
He said, well, if you give us 5 or 10 minutes, we can put you in a booth or seat you. Of course, not with that group, but we can seat you.
At least you get to eat the same food as those people who did the right thing and RSVP'd early. Yeah. But see, they didn't do the wrong thing, those latecomers, those late reservers, because the cutoff date was 2 minutes before the event started.
Right.
They didn't fail to RSVP by a date certain. So they were innocent as the day is long. They were just unlucky. Right, and so she is punishing them for procrastinating or making up their mind at the last minute or having some prior engagement that precluded their attending, was canceled. Janie's not going to be having her birthday party on that date after all, so I'm free to attend this women's church group luncheon, where it's just a late-breaking change in their circumstances leads them to suddenly RSVP the day before the event. But it's too late as far as Sharon is concerned because there's only 14 available slots, and they missed the boat.
And she was going to tell us
tough luck. Have a nice life. All right. Okay.
Like we were
what was her demeanor when she addressed you with that notion that you and the orphans go across the street?
Just a matter of fact.
Matter of
what she
fact,
wanted
this is
to
how
happen.
things are. I'm sorry, Judy.
Right.
You and your orphans are going to
Go
have to
across
leave
the
the
street.
premises.
Right.
Leave the premises and dine on different food in a
Right.
different
And I will
restaurant.
call the manager. I said, go right ahead.
All right. So
miss.
what happened now then?
So she called the manager to come over, and she told him everything, and then all the wait staff came out and stood and everything, and I thought, oh, a scene. And then she said, she told him everything, and that's when he told her, he said, Miss, I have nothing to do with that. He said, that the restaurant has nothing to do with that.
All right. So did she accept that the restaurant didn't want to hear her life story?
Right.
All right.
Nothing to do with it. But we still had not been seated.
Right.
And that was the problem.
Well, what happened?
I wanted to seat it.
What happened next?
So finally, she woke up. And said,
Who woke up?
Sharon.
She came to her senses.
Yeah.
All right. Did somebody give her a dope slap and she shook her head and went, oh, I'm back to myself now?
Kind of. So she found all of a sudden there were 3 seats at that table for 14.
Uh-huh.
So she could seat the 3 that I wanted to make sure that were seated
Yeah.
at the table. And then Sarah Lynn and Shelby.
Just you don't need to
3 of
name
us went
names.
to the
All
bar
right.
And had dinner
Okay.
at the bar.
At the bar. You ate at the bar. Could you see the women's group from the bar?
No.
Then they couldn't see you.
No.
So you actually dined alone. You might as well
With
have
the
been,
other 2.
but you might as well have been across the street, except for the cuisine.
Oh yeah, and the ambiance, Bill, and the.
Well, you got a better ambiance. You got the bar ambiance
it was
instead
very
of
nice.
Sharon. You have to look at Sharon as you eat and get annoyed every time you look at her, or you get to look at a bunch of liquor bottles behind the bar. Now, who was the bartender, man or woman?
Man.
Was he cute?
Yeah.
Was he nice?
Yes.
Well, who lucked out today, baby?
I think we did, the 3 of us, Sarah Lynn, Shelby, and Sarah Lynn and Shelby. Sharon said, "Do they have to come?" That's what Sharon said to me.
Wait a minute now. Wait just a second. Back up. You're co-president of this United Women of Faith group at Ginter Park Methodist Church in Richmond, Virginia, Northside Richmond. Your co-president says what now?
She asked me if Shelby Sally, the new person that was at the meeting, she said, "Did she have to come?"
Why would your co-president be so bitchy?
I don't know.
Well, what's the mean girl thing going on? How old is this mean girl? How old is the mean girl?
77. Like,
Oh, my Lord. Has she been a mean girl her whole life, do you think, or did she just learn this skill lately?
I got a feeling it was a lifelong.
All right.
thing.
So you're dealing with an entrenched personality defect in
Kinda.
your co-president.
Kinda.
Sorry, boo-boo. Say welcome to my world
Oh, welcome to my world.
and say bye, viewers.
Bye.